Hello, and welcome to the In-House Content Podcast, where we teach you how to create content that works for you and not against you in order to add meaningful leads into your business. The In-House Content Podcast is sponsored by Creative Selections LLC and Really Good Content Incorporated.
Okay, so do you want to start it saying something like that? I just think you're way better at starting things than me.
I think that should be how we intro this podcast, is like that.
I think so too. I will put that there.
If I can say that. So what we'll do is I'll say that and then we'll intro ourselves.
Okay.
So welcome to the In-House Content Podcast. In-House Content Podcast, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, the In-House Content Podcast. Okay. That's what we said.
So I keep saying in-house content.
We bought the email, Jared.
So welcome to the In-House Content Podcast, where we teach you how to create content that works for you and not against you and add meaningful leads into your business. My name is Jared. I'm the CEO of Really Good Content Incorporated. And joining me is Stephanie Hidalgo.
Oh, you said my last name right.
Isn't that how you say it? Yeah.
Hidalgo.
Yeah, Hidalgo. Yeah. And I say it with like a little bit of an accent because I'm that white guy that does that like actually throws the proper accent onto things when I
I'm the girl.
Taco, it's taco. And I'll do like the little bit of like the
I'm the girl that butchers every single name and you hate me after you meet me. I'm just kidding.
Why don't you want to introduce yourself too?
Yeah, so I'm Stephanie Hidalgo. I am the CEO of Creative Selections LLC and Valley Image Studios in California. Yeah.
It's
Thanks,
rad.
Jared. So me and my bald friend here are going to talk about how to create amazing content. We have been partnered together for like a year now. Yeah, so we've been working on clients together and we've just the way our minds work just mesh. So we're like, let's make a podcast. Let's add some value to people because we do see a lot of, working in this industry for so long. We've seen a lot of, misguiding and like the tagline of this podcast is create content that works for you, not against you. So we want to help you make content that works for you. So in this podcast, we're going to talk about ourselves. We're going to talk about our stories, how we quit our jobs and or left our jobs, and why and hopefully that inspires you with your business, and then how marketing just came into play and is in such an important play, I guess, in our lives, right?
Yeah, and just to touch on that, your content working for you and not against you. It's so often, and me and Stephanie were just talking about this, it's so often that we see that people will create they'll spam create content kind of like they're just throwing mud at the wall to see what sticks. And they don't know how to create meaningful content that connects with their audience and that drives action towards really what they want. So a lot of people will they'll see Gary Vee and say, oh, I need to make 5,000 Instagram posts. And they say, well, why? What do you want people to do? They're like, well, I want them to buy my book. And I was like, well, you shouldn't have made cooking posts. You should have made stuff about your book. So people make the wrong content sometimes and they make it in such high volumes that they get exhausted.
Right.
So a lot of the purpose of, go ahead.
Exactly. And then their call to action or their website or their link in bio will make absolutely no sense to their business or just be super confusing, right? So totally.
And so a lot of the purpose of this podcast is going to be telling you how to create content that's meaningful and then how to throw that into an effective sales funnel pipeline so that you get the result that you want. You don't feel like you're just spinning your tires the entire time.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to be sharing free resources, checklists, and cool, awesome resources for you guys, and just have some really good content.
Hello
for everybody. So let's get into it. So we were talking about how we got started in the marketing world, and I don't know, Jared, I like your story a lot. It's kind of funny and fun. So I don't know if you want to start with how you got started in, I guess, really in the creation of really good content and your background.
So I'm a creative through and through. I was a musician all growing up. And what I realized, I went to school for music, and halfway through college, I realized I was like, my passion is not music, even though I did love music and I love playing music. My passion was creativity, and music was the most adequate outlet that I'd found to express that. So it wasn't until I was roughly 19, 20 years old that I realized like, oh my gosh, the whole world could open up to me. And I realized that my creative power was something that I needed to harness and to enjoy in a wide spectrum rather than just localizing it to just music. And so that took me kind of on a journey. My wife and I built tons of businesses over the last 5, 6 years. We got married when we were 24-ish. We built tons of business over the 5, 6 years that have all crashed until we built Really Good Content 2 years ago. And Really Good Content is a media agency that builds websites, that does video content, photo content. We're focusing a lot on building amazing websites that sell and creating amazing SEO for those websites so that they can get onto the first page of Google, because most of our clients need local business. And that's the thing we've been really focusing on a lot as a business recently. Anyway, we launched Really Good Content in 2019. And I was working with an amazing doctor at the time. His name is Shino Bay. And I was his executive assistant. I was like his brand designer and working on kind of his personal training business. And I was able to help him create some really fantastic results within his business and to help design some amazing stuff. And because of that, a lot of his colleagues had asked me to make content for them. And on a regular basis, it would be little things, $200 here, $300 there for like a graphic or, you know, a video or something, nothing crazy, but it was just a nice little extra amount of money. And then one day we got our first big client, Dr. Maria Yassi, who lives down in Miami. And she said, I want videos. And I said, how many videos do you want? She goes, I want a lot, Jared. And it was thousands of dollars. It was a big chunk of change. And I immediately came home and I was like, Monica, we have to form a business. Yeah, I was like, we're gonna be rich. I was like, we have to form a business. We're gonna be tax liable for this. So we came home, we decided, we were like, what are we gonna call it? Jared and Monica Incorporated, Roar Incorporated. We were like, let's just call it what it is. It's really good content. So we found, Roar Incorporated was kind of a cool, we went against it though. Really Good Content, it's an S Corp. And we found the domain the next day, and it was up for auction for $12 on GoDaddy. Yeah, it was great. And because I didn't think it was going to be available. So I won the auction and got it for $12 and told my boss about it. Shino was more than excited for me. Jake and Lauren and everybody that was at the practice at the time, they were more than excited for us to kind of be building something that they were like, you know what, this is what's right for you. And so fast forward 4 months later, we had so much business that staying with Shino was going to hurt our continued growth with Really Good Content.
Yeah.
And I had dreamed about the day when I would be a full-time business owner, when I would quit my job and be like, I don't have to submit to anybody anymore. And like, I own my business, I own my life, I own the direction that I'm going in, and I don't have to submit to somebody, that's telling me what to do and how to do it. Because not that I didn't like that, but I was put in a position where I had to make my personal goal their personal goals. It was not about me building something that was going to make an impact around the world. It was about me serving somebody else's vision, which is totally fine, but that's definitely not the long term for me. And that's not something I've ever been okay with. So there was a particular day that tensions were a little high in the business or at Shino Bay. Tensions were a little high because there was a project that had like a really tight deadline and was looking like it wasn't going to get hit. And everybody was just like tense. And I remember feeling tense in that moment and thinking like, I have to get out of here. I have to go and build our business. Because all I could think about was, how am I going to continue to build really good content? And that day, with all the tension and the stress, I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit. And then I was like, I can't quit because I don't have my freaking computer. Like they had all my stuff was on my work computer. So I left that day, bought a computer, and then I had like my quitting insurance and transfer like everything that I needed from Really Good Content. I had my quitting insurance. And then the next, it was like 2 weeks later, I sat down for lunch and just said, hey, I'm going to be stepping away. And I gave them like a month's notice. I said, hey, I'll stay on for the next 2-3 weeks. And so I kind of worked my way out of the job. And then I've been full-time with Really Good Content ever since. So it's been about 2 years.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was so
cool.
fun.
I can totally relate to like that tense feeling of just like being, in a place you don't want to be in, right?
Yeah.
Or like just a place where you feel like, I don't know, where your creativity or you're not being really, I guess, I don't want to say appreciated, but you're definitely not at your full capacity.
Yeah.
With like what you could be doing. And like and that feeling is just, it's a tense feeling.
Yeah. And there's no amount of appreciation for any freelancer or any
Definitely.
designer or any marketer that is providing, when you're providing a ton of value to a company, there's no amount of appreciation that'll substitute for you owning that company.
Mm-hmm.
There's no amount of appreciation that somebody could give me that would make me feel better than me owning really good content and having a banger year.
Exactly. No,
There's
and
no,
I'm sure you get offered jobs all the time and you turn them down. I get offered jobs all the freaking time, and I'm like, there's nothing better than, working with several businesses and just creating content and like hearing
yeah,
the success stories of all your clients. I
yeah,
wouldn't trade it for any corporate job.
no, and you can't,
Right?
or even getting offers or anything. Like there's nothing that maybe there's a number that somebody could offer me to sell really good content, but like because there's been times and I'm like, I just don't, there's so much more, I see so much more potential than anything that anybody could trade me
Mm-hmm.
for it, and
Definitely.
I know my potential, I know my ability, and
Awesome.
the momentum that we're building, the momentum that you're building, like it's just not worth giving it to someone else who I know isn't going to respect the people that we work with as much as we do.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to
You know?
think about like someone taking over your clients, right? Like especially like clients you've been working for years.
Yeah, it's such an intimate relationship too, where it's
Yeah,
like
it's like
you have
super close.
you want them to be successful,
Hmm.
so like you're working extra hard for them, and it's like you give it to some big company and they're not going to care as much. They just want more
Yeah,
clients.
yeah. And that's a big thing me and you talk a lot about a lot is that we're so busy with our clients, we have no time for ourselves. So this
Yeah.
is like our first time coming out of our little shell to
Yeah.
like make something and
Yeah.
like
That's so true.
provide content for
Yeah.
ourselves.
I literally, like, the last 2 weeks has been the first time that I've started making content for our business. Monica has been on Instagram the last like week. She's posted at least 3 things, which
Yeah,
is
I share all your stuff.
I appreciate it. I saw you share something. I was like, my goodness. Like that clip that you saw, that was a clip from a YouTube series that we had done.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I want to be able to put more stuff out there, because if we don't serve ourselves the same way that we tell our clients they need to serve themselves, then it's hypocritical. You know what I'm
For
saying? Like
sure.
I'm telling our clients to get a YouTube channel, and then
Yeah, and we're over
like
here like, yeah. But we're
yeah,
spending hours on our client, like all day. Just like
we're working really
we're
hard for
working really hard on our clients that we
them.
have no time for ourselves. But it's
Exactly.
okay. I think we've gotten to a point now where it's like it's time.
We can breathe and build even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your story? You have to tell everyone your story.
Okay, like I was thinking about this before we got on this call, and so it actually starts back my previous job before like I actually started my company. Like it started when I wanted to be like a fitness Instagram girl, right? On social media. So I was like obsessed with like working out, lifting weights, and I was filming videos every day for Instagram. I probably have horrible form. I don't even want to go back and look back on them. I got a lot of followers from just like posting like videos every day of me working out, right? And just like different workout routines. And I was a personal trainer, I had like my own little private gym for a company. Like I was like the gym manager there. So I would like manage, I would get clients and I would train people all day. But I fell in love with like making content for myself. And then I had like my clients or my customers, like my personal training clients, and they would ask me to do like social media posts for them or like ads for them because I was doing all of the marketing for the gym on my own, just learning as I go, right? And this was a long time ago, probably like 7 years ago. Um, and I was doing it all for myself, like all at the gym. And then like my clients would come in, they'd be like, "Hey, I want that done for my real estate business. I want that done for my construction business, my concrete business." So it started with a lot of like kind of like industrial type clients.
Mm-hmm.
What would it say, like contractors? Um, and then I like got really interested, so I enrolled in like SEO classes and social media classes at like the universities, and then like I got my certifications, and then I wanted to move. I was in Bakersfield, California, which I just felt like it's just so boring to live there, man. Like I
Yeah,
love it
big
there. It's my
ones.
hometown. I love it. I visit all the time. My family lives there. But for me, I just wanted to, I've always wanted to live in Orange County. Like that was like my biggest goal. Like I want to live near the beach. I want to have like a beach California life.
Well,
So
if you move to Orlando, it's Orange County here too.
I know I want to move
You
up.
can still live in Orange
I'm gonna
County.
go visit. I'm gonna buy my van and I'm gonna go visit. I'm gonna drive my van across the country
Yeah.
and go visit. Anyways, so yeah, so I I applied for a marketing job with my certifications and my experience with these companies that I work for at the gym in Newport Beach. And like going to apply for it and everything was like super crazy. Like I drove like 3 hours at like 3 a.m. to because they actually gave me an interview. And then I interviewed and I got like their marketing position at like this fitness franchise with like a couple gyms. So that was cool.
Right.
It was really hard. And then I found out I was pregnant. So like yeah, so I was pregnant. I was working for this company and I was just getting bigger. But I was, I was being a little bit less active than I was when I was making a lot of fitness content. Um, so it kind of gave me a lot of time to learn more about marketing and like really like
Yeah.
educate myself on like this industry and then of course like business as well. I've always wanted to have my own business that was like successful and I was, running things and no one could tell me I was laid off, no one could tell me I was fired, no one could control my pay,
Mm.
right? That's like always been the ultimate goal. So essentially, the job I had didn't work out, and I had my son, and that like I think when my son came, I think that's when it was like the ultimate push, like start your own business, start promoting your own self, and then like it took so long to get more clients for me. But once I got that like exciting momentum from that one client I got in like Atlanta, that's
Yeah.
when like it exploded. And it was like client after client. They were very small, like, like kind of when you start. And then all of a sudden, like you start learning more about what you can offer and, how to be pricing things. And it just blew up, to working with over 1,000 businesses on coaching. And it's a
Unbelievable.
lot, it's insane. Um, Coaching like not even just businesses, also like entrepreneurs, other freelancers as well, and things like that, just growing since then. And then I opened the studio and have a place for my people to go take content, you know so it's been an awesome journey.
Yeah.
But that's it in a nutshell these past couple of years. And like I feel like on social media, like our social medias, like we go in there, post a cool picture, post a video every once in a while. Like maybe I'll do some surfing videos, I don't know. But
Well, you've
like
been on it with the surfing content,
dude, I've been out in the
which
ocean
is
every
amazing.
day.
Is all your social media for your business also on the Stephanie Hidalgo page?
Honestly, I tried to start my company Instagram and we got
Yeah.
so slammed. Like I had one of my girls doing the marketing, like the social media content for it, but we got so slammed like after like probably a week after the pandemic hit. I would say that's
You
when
got
like
too
I
many
was
leads
posting.
from Instagram?
hmm Well, from my personal
You got to
one,
teach me your secret.
no, for my personal one, I get coaching calls. I don't get like big businesses like I do for
Mhm.
through like other websites and stuff.
Yeah.
But like my company Instagram, we just stopped posting to it. I need to get it back up. We got so busy.
So
And
the Instagram overwhelmed you, or you blew up on Upwork or whatever
yeah,
the
we grew up on the other
other ones?
platforms.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
was like,
not
you had too
Instagram.
many leads, so you
No, I
stopped
didn't. Too
Instagram
many leads on like
on
just
every other
in
source. Yeah.
general. Yeah, I think when the pandemic hit, and I know you had a big boom too. Like all us like online marketers had a huge boom
Yeah.
because everyone needed to transition to
Yeah.
and focus more on their online.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
and I even like took like the last 6 months we were working with BTS, which is an amazing conference, and I loved
mhm.
working with them. But
Yeah, we both worked on them.
that's true. Both of us got to work, and we'll continue to work with BTS. They're
Yeah, yeah,
amazing. But I put so much effort into that I completely neglected our business during that. There was leads that came through,
same here.
and they went right back out the door. And I'm like, I just realized like I spent so much time building their business that my business suffered, which in the end is going to mean that they don't get me either, which means their business will get hurt as
hmm
well. So it's
hmm
like focusing so much on one client and not on building your business is so destructive towards you and towards your future. And in the end, I got this business to not work for other people, but to build
Exactly.
a life that allows me to make an impact,
hmm
and I believe that can be done through having an amazing company culture, treating people really well,
hmm
knowing how to have strong conversations that are led with love, and making enough money to be able to go do whatever we want to,
Exactly.
in whether that's helping third world countries, whether that's spoiling the crap out of my unborn daughter, um, who will be born on October 1st.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Or our unborn nephew that's coming a month after
Goodness.
that. You know, I didn't get into business to make a bunch of other people
Yeah, and I
to
think
build
that's,
their businesses over ours.
yeah, we're both kind of at that point where we're kind of just burnt out. And
A
it's like
lot.
it's time for us. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And I know you and I, like, we really mesh on like our values, and then we also like, you guys introduced me to a lot of books and things that just, we can recommend to everyone listening to, read and take advantage of, because the information when it comes to working with marketers like ourselves, and then also like anybody in life,
Yeah.
it's
Mindset
so
books.
valuable.
Yeah.
So
What are your top like 3 mindset books?
mindset books
Yeah,
would
books that
be,
just like improve your business, your life, your relationships.
so just like mindset, I would say the one you recommended, which is the self-help and the self-deception. How do I say?
Leadership and Self-Deception.
Leadership and
If you are
self-deception.
listening to this podcast and you have not read Leadership and Self-Deception, I
It's
am
right here.
telling you
I'll
right
give it
now,
away.
click the link. Click the link. Oh, it's right there on your it's on your shelf.
It's on my shelf.
Straight
um,
up. Send you DM Stephanie and she'll mail you a copy.
I will
You
mail
DM
you
me.
a
I will
copy.
mail you a copy of Leadership and Self.
Yes, we
It
will
is
mail you
the
guys copies.
it is the best book I've ever read in my entire freaking life. It's the only book I've ever found that codifies pride and
Mm-hmm.
ego
Mm-hmm.
so that you can get rid of it and start actually achieving results. I've never read a better book that changed my life
Yeah.
more on the way that I interact with people.
Yeah, and that's like I think Jared introduced me to that book when I was like so like I was having so many hard issues with different clients. And then once I read that book, like especially if you have really difficult people to deal with, it'll help you. Like it just helps you kind of think
Yeah.
to like solve, like more solution based and more like moving forward based, compared to just like dwelling in like, dwelling in that space, I guess.
Yeah. It teaches you to stop blaming people and to start sitting and
Hmm.
saying, okay, how can I improve our relationship so that we can all achieve the result we're going for?
Hmm.
Because
Exactly.
we get so angry at people and we turn them into objects that are just in the way of our personal goals. Like
Hmm.
where, a client is being difficult, you're like, oh, well, you're just what? And then you start blaming them when really like they're a person with dreams and goals and desires
Hmm.
that aren't being met, and they're frustrated and they don't know how to express that. So they're blaming
Yeah.
you, and you feel the same way. And so you're blaming them, and then it's back and forth and back and forth. And in the end, you're like, you know what? I'm really sorry. And my goal is to help you. They're like, well, no, you know what? I'm sorry. And my
Yeah.
goal is that we can achieve this. And you're like, well, why didn't we say that from the beginning? Like we could have been friends this whole time.
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
for
important.
sure.
You
Just
have
taking
to.
responsibility, even if the other person doesn't do it, but like you do it on your end, people will appreciate it, and hopefully it teaches the other person a lesson, right?
And most times the best way to
That's
win. That's the
It
best way
is.
to win.
It's so the best way to win. I have gotten out of, well, not gotten out of, like I've solved so many client
Yeah.
issues
You solve
because,
every problem,
yes, just taking advantage and just not taking advantage.
taking responsibility.
Taking responsibility and just learning, like saying, how can we, just telling the client, like, hey, let's move forward. What can we do? Like,
What
let's
can
do,
I
these are
help?
the action steps. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, so Jared, second book is You're Badass.
Oh yeah.
You
By
Are a
Jen
Badass
by Jen
Jen
Sincero.
Sincero. Yes.
Yeah.
Sincero. That one's like that. If you need something to motivate you and it's just like a funny read,
Yeah.
that one. But honestly, all these books behind me are amazing. One of my clients wrote one that I just read. It's called Real Leadership, and she
Mhm.
goes in and she trains these big companies on same what we're talking about, just making it a very good workplace. Like she trains some really big companies. So she wrote a book, and I'm reading hers. I like it a lot for mindset. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's a lot more.
Real leadership.
Real
You're a
Leadership.
badass. You're a badass. Monica read 4 or 5 years ago, and
Mhm.
she like had a big mindset shift from that book. I've seen multiple girls recently. Guys can read it too. It's a great book for guys
It's
too.
so
But
funny for girls.
it's certainly strong for girls. I think Jen writes for girls too.
Yeah.
But it's so tight. You're a badass is great.
Yeah, I have You're a Badass at Making Money right there. So
Yeah.
I just
that one
wanted
good?
more. I wanted more from her, and she gave me more. So it is good. Yeah.
Jen's rad, man. Jen Sincero.
Yeah,
She's
sure.
good. And she speaks really, really like well in her book.
Mhm.
She communicates thoughts and ideas so that they're practical.
So understandable. Like especially for like the thing with like Napoleon Hill's book sometimes is they're, very advanced, and then like As a Man Thinketh as well. Like it's kind of like, I don't know how to say like the way they
They're
wrote the
written in
book.
like the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're talking to somebody that's 20, 30 years older than you.
Yeah, so these are definitely resources we recommend for anyone starting a
Yeah.
business, anyone in any type of situation, and just, even if you're a dog walker or, sell blend smoothies for a living, which
Yeah.
we love.
Yes. Or make acai bowls like
Or
Stephanie
make
just said.
acai bowls. Yeah, even if you're just thinking about starting a business and you're kind of scared, like these books will like fuel, like you want to fuel yourself with
Yeah.
like this.
If you're just starting
Mhm,
a business, here are the three that you have to read. A, Leadership and Self-Deception, you have to read, even
mhm.
if you're not starting a business.
Yep.
The Compound Effect by Darren
Oh,
Hardy.
I did read that one.
I
I
love
was
that.
reading it. I told you. I told
Compound
you.
Effect is
Yes, I
amazing.
took a picture and you and Monica were like, yeah.
Yeah, the Compound Effect by Darren Hardy
That is a
is
really
so
good
good
one.
for any new business owner because you're shifting from making hourly pay to making momentum pay,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
Mm-hmm.
when you make hourly pay, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and
Mine.
and if you get paid $50,000 a year, then every year you have to make that $50,000 again. When you own a business, hopefully if you're building it right and you're not just working per hour for a client, but you're actually building a system that's growing, you
Mm-hmm.
make $50,000 this year, you get to just tack on to that $50,000 for next year and next year, and it compounds. So you have to build momentum, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
important. So Leadership and Self-Deception, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, and The Go-Giver by Bob Burg.
Haven't
You ever
read that
read that
one.
sucker?
No, now I gotta
The
get it.
Go-Giver is so good. That's
The
like
Go
one of the
Giver.
most like that's like one of the most baseline business books that I would ever recommend somebody that's like kind of interested to read.
Great.
It's
It's gonna
super
be on my
easy.
shelf next
That
episode.
one, yeah, the Leadership and Self-Deception and The Go-Giver are both narratives too. They're both like fictional stories that are wrapped up in principles, so they're super easy reads. The Compound Effect is an actual kind of intellectual book that Darren Hardy is the author of the CEO of Success Magazine, and he wrote a book on the principles of.
Did he
Great.
write How to Win Friends and Influence People?
No, that was
Oh, that's
that was
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Seven Habits of Highly Effective People is my other big
I
one.
do have that one. I have that one.
Yeah,
I think I've started it.
that's
There's
a
a
great
lot of
book.
books to read, but like we're
That book though,
constantly, yeah.
that book, when I was going through Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, I could read one paragraph and then just reflect on it for like 30 minutes. It's literally like the Bible. It is so dense with like good info that you're like,
Information.
oh my gosh, this is amazing. But
Yeah.
I can only sit on a couple sentences at a time. But yeah, those are me. If anybody's just starting out, Leadership and Self-Deception, The Go-Giver, and The Compound Effect are like killers to start.
Yeah, I second that. I need to finish them.
Feel free
But
to DM either of us whenever you want.
yes,
If you
we'll
need
send
book
them to you.
recommendations or you need motivation, we'll tell you.
Yeah, just fill that brain of yours with positivity and belief, because a lot of times you won't find it in outer ways. You have to find
Yeah.
it. You have to like do it yourself in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Educate yourself. Fill
Yeah,
your
and
brain.
you have to learn about yourself too. A lot of people, especially going from a job to a business, you in general are told what to be and
Mm-hmm.
what to do
Mm-hmm.
and how to be when you're in a job. Like you're given a personality type in a lot of jobs too. So
Right.
when you step into a business, you get to finally like become
Be yeah, and like, well, I had a big struggle with my team and like learning how to like manage and not do it all myself, right?
Yeah.
So like that was another reason why like the leadership books were so big for me. It helped me a lot. But like I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, when you are working, you get paid every 2 weeks, your mind is focused on like that 2 week payment, right? So like your bills, it's already like in your head. Like I have to
Yeah.
pay my car this time. Like I'm only gonna make this much. I'm gonna make this much. Maybe I can afford a trip. Like if I save for 6 months, just like things like that. When you own a
Yeah.
business, you can make your paycheck every 2 days. Like you can, if
Exactly. That's
you really
true.
work hard,
Yeah.
you can, like you're out of that paycheck mindset. It's no more like I'm gonna get this set amount. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get this set amount. It's more like, okay, I can quadruple this next month, or if I do XYZ, or, it's not about, and I think, Jared and I are at this point where it's like, it's not about growing to live now. It's growing to make a difference
Yeah.
in the world that we live in now, because we hit our goals time and time and again with our agencies. And it's just like, this is like the ultimate goal, right? To like just grow to where we want to make an impact.
And I think that's so important too, is like knowing that you hear a lot of like Simon Sinek, he has a great TED talk called How Great Leaders Inspire Action. It's about his book called Start With Why. And when you can start with why you're doing what you're doing, and you can be operating out of an abundance of why you wanted to build an agency in the first place, or why you wanted to get out of a job in the first place, you just feel more happy. You feel more peaceful, like financially, once you start hitting goals, you're like, freaking yeah. Like this month, we sold more stuff this month. We sold more this month in our business and made more money than I would have ever made in 3 years.
Oh yeah.
At any job that I have ever.
That's how it's like. I'm like, yeah, I get your salary, dude, in a month.
Exactly. People are like, oh,
what?
You can't afford me.
No, it's because there's no cap on our where we can go, and we can do so many different things. And maybe in another podcast episode, we'll talk about like how we generate so many different revenues of income. But like,
you're a master at that. You're like,
I have to think about it all the time. If not, I stress out. Like, I'm just like, how can I just keep thinking about it? Yeah. So I like share with Jared my ideas all the time.
I'll tell you what too, I think you might even, it's very interesting because I think that because I see this, and you know who talked about this a lot? It's Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank.
Oh, I love him.
Anytime he hires CEOs for companies, his first draft pick is usually a woman. And people are like, well, why? He goes, because women are so sharp, man. They're so sharp, dude.
That's
because
awesome.
Guys are built like, I don't know if it's a biological difference, but I would be willing to say that women are biologically, they have an advantage. Like society in general has told them that they can't do things. And now there's a big empowerment movement where women are coming up. But I think women genuinely, because of their ability, their nesting mindset, and their gatherer mindset that might be biological, I believe that women are better.
Yeah, we're go-getters, dude.
You are, and you just have this like provider mentality that's so strong. Like I have utmost respect for any woman that's in, and any CEO that I ever hire. My first thought is, I want a really sharp go-getter lady to run this.
That's
Some of the most respected CEOs. I was at BTS. There was this company. It's called Revision Skincare. It's the most amazing Revision. If you're watching, I freaking love you. They're the most amazing skincare brand out there, just because of the amazing things that they're doing behind the scenes. But their CEO right now, Maria Carroll, is such a rock star. And she was at BTS with her staff in Miami a month ago. And the way that they respected her and the way that they talked about her and the amazing things she's achieved in her career, I'm like, man, like I would kill. And I told her this. I sent her a follow-up email afterwards and I said, anytime you're in Florida, any chance that I get, I want to like pick your brain, get to know you more, because she's just a brilliant mind.
Yeah. And I think what's amazing about what we do is we get to meet so many CEOs and business owners and like just badass people, like really cool people. And that we just like learn from as well. Right. Yeah. Like I've had a lot of clients that have taught me, a lot of things, like you guys and, like a lot of like author client, like just different people. You just learn from everything. But I agree. I do see, and I see it everywhere, just like women just kicking ass, like in every industry, just like, it's just go-getters. But, I'm always thinking like, what's the next thing? I can't just have that one source. For me, I have to kind of have like different, like at least try. My whole thing is like, what happens if I try? Nothing. Like nothing horrible is going to happen if I just try it, right? So, yeah.
For context, to everyone who's watching or listening, Stephanie, before we got on this, she goes, Jared, Pinterest, Jared. Or no, sorry, Pinterest.
Etsy.
Etsy. I'm like, Etsy? She goes, yeah, Etsy, Jared. Etsy.
Sell anything on Etsy.
Sell on Etsy.
We could talk about that too. We'll do another episode. I got to write this down. On like how I'm having some of my clients utilize Etsy to just provide like badass lead gen and then just like get some clients and then also make revenue through selling on Etsy. It doesn't have to be, it could just be like a one pager or like a, a checklist or a template, it doesn't have to be a physical product. Like it's no longer just handmade products on Etsy. You can sell a bunch
Let
of
us know if you guys want content like that, or whatever kind of content that you guys are struggling with creating in your business. Let us know so that we can provide whatever it is that you want that's going to provide you the most value. Either drop a comment or send us an email. So a lot of the purpose of this podcast is going to be to help you to create content that works for you, not against you, and to add meaningful leads into your business. And one way that we want to start doing that is we want to help by starting to create kind of a sales funnel for you. And Stephanie and I have been working on this checklist for you to at least kind of check off whether or not you've got the items that you need. It's kind of the beginning of something that you can start using towards creating your own sales funnels and making sure that your social media is tuned in properly to your website, and your website's tuned in properly to your CRM, and your CRM is actually driving the action that you need so that you can convert sales. And so we created kind of a small business marketing checklist for you to cross compare whether or not you have the things that you need from a design perspective, from a marketing perspective, and from a relationship management perspective. And if you don't have all of these things, you have to have every single box ticked. If you don't have every single box ticked, send us an email, reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to help in any way that we can. But if you head on over to inhousecontentcourse.com/podcast, you can go ahead and download that checklist for free, no problem.
Yep. And yeah, for sure. I think that's great. Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. The first one. Woo!
Unless we had 0 listeners, Jared. If not, then hey, dude, it was great talking to you.
It was great talking. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If anything.
Thank you for listening to the In-House Content Podcast. If you'd like to start making content that works for you and not against you, and begin adding meaningful leads into your business, we've created a marketing funnel checklist for you to download. Head over to inhousecontentcourse.com/podcast to claim this free gift.